Happy homes. Listen to this. Laura Blue Eyes, a tiny bundle of love to share with you.
3 marriages, no children. You ever consider adopting?
Kindest thing I could ever do for a kid is not adopt.
In New York City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
Hey guys, welcome to Munch My Benson. My name's Adam. It's been a little while since we recorded one of these. Thankfully, we made the good decision to bank a few episodes because one of the things that can happen in life is that a winter storm can come out of nowhere and knock out power to the entire state of Texas, which causes a cascading infrastructure collapse, which left 14 million people without clean drinking water and made the last 2 weeks of my life a living hell. It was an adventure for a while. I still don't have hot water. Thankfully, I have heat. It's actually very warm outside, so it doesn't even fucking matter if I have heat or not. And I have cold water, which, believe it or not, having cold running water in your house is a huge step up. A huge step up.
Is it potable?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's perfectly potable.
Okay.
Perfectly potable.
I mean, I feel like you should still probably be boiling.
No. The boil water notice thing went off a long time ago. Thankfully for us, since we didn't have water the whole period of the non-boil water notice, we didn't really have to worry too much. We never had non-potable water in our lines. But yeah, got pretty intimate with a bucket on a few occasions. And... And I'm hopeful that our hot water can get on sooner rather than later. How's your life been over the last couple of weeks, Josh?
I think it's safe to say markedly better than yours has been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was obviously also cold here.
Yeah.
When it was cold down there. But I didn't go outside at all, so it didn't fucking matter to me.
Yeah, it was probably a lot colder in my house last week than it was in your house.
100%.
It was 28 degrees Fahrenheit inside my house the other day. My inside plants all froze to death. That's a new problem there.
No, it was, it stays about... We keep it cool. Last night, it warmed up on us to like 71 downstairs. But there's
nice.
There's radiant heating in the floor. So.
I love that shit. Radiant heating is pretty fucking nice. Well... We watched a movie. I don't know if we should start with that. We watched a movie. It came up because Aaron Broderick, who plays Maureen Stabler, has a very limited IMDb page. And one of the films she was in was as Patrick Swayze's daughter in the 1998 trucker thriller Black Dog. And we both watched it. Neither one of us had ever seen it. And us being, I would safely say we're both big Swayze guys.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like it was a missing part of my film knowledge.
Yeah, late 90s Swayze's weird, too. Really, post Point Break, it gets strange.
It's post-classic Swayze is what I would call it. But you know what? I think the Suave brought it in this movie. He was strapping on those gloves. He was really digging into the role. He enjoyed learning about trucker life.
I suspect that afterwards he probably drove a rig for a while. For love of the craft, you know?
I don't know how into the method Swayze was, but it did seem to me like he had strapped on some loads, like he had moved a trailer onto a hitch. You know, he had done those jobs. He knew what was going on. If you guys are not familiar with this film, it's basically an excuse to have things exploding on a highway for an hour and a half with a few 20-minute interludes of plot in between. It features Randy Travis, the country singer, as one of the people who inexplicably needs to come with Patrick Swayze on his trip. And it features Meatloaf as I don't even know if he's the biggest bad guy in this, but sort of the biggest bad guy. It's a very kind of implausible plot, but enjoyable. I liked it a lot.
It's sort of like Smokey and the Bandit meets an R-rated Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, I could see that.
Only with more gunplay.
And zero sexiness. Like, there's no sex appeal in this film at all. Besides Swayze.
Besides Randy Travis.
And Randy Travis, that's true.
Yeah. It's weird. His wife's Brenda Strong.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of like, that's unusual. I wasn't expecting to see that.
No, Brenda Strong and Aaron Broderick, neither one of them seems like the family members of a trucker. I would call that a casting miss.
Especially a trucker who can't truck anymore because he's an ex-con now.
I know. They're decidedly waspy.
He had his CDL taken away from him because of his conviction. It was fun. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, it slots in below Shakedown on our list of films that we've watched, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In the course of researching this episode, I came up with 2 other films that we need to watch. One of them I'll just throw out right now. Jocks from 1986, which features a very young Mariska Hargitay, is one that we need to watch. It's like a tennis team romp through, I don't know, London or something like that. We do not get to see Mariska nude because she had a no nudes clause back then, but they tried to get her to play nude, apparently.
It's definitely one of those movies that if you went to video stores, I'm almost positive it has one of those salacious teen sex romp covers.
Oh, big
That's
time.
one of those things that if you went to the local video store and were like looking at the shelves as a teen or preteen, you're like, oh, fuck, I want to see that movie.
It's 100% that. It's like a big-breasted woman wearing a crop top with like bikini bottoms on. That's the cover. Absolutely. So that one looks fun. And the other one I'll bring up later as we get to it. I don't really have much else to talk about. My life is... It's felt like it's been 2 years since the last time I talked to you, Josh, not 2 weeks.
It's been a long time. Okay, so Jackie and I have been kind of obsessed with The Last Alaskans, which I think only season 3 is on Hulu now. All 4 seasons are on Discovery Plus if you have access to that. And then we watched Judas and the Black Messiah, which was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been watching some more Twin Peaks The Return. I watched the famous episode 8, which is the really, really out there one. Been watching a lot of Schitt's Creek.
Isn't it fucking fantastic?
It's really good. I just started it, so I'm like most of the way through with season 1, but it was a good thing to watch while I was trying to like take my mind off the fact that I was living in somebody else's house because we didn't have heat at my house.
You're like, well, their lives fell apart too. So
it was good. Yeah.
It really gets better too. It's really fantastic.
I think it's really fun so far. I mean, they're unlikable, but in a really funny way.
You'll be surprised to see where it goes. I'm rewatching Schitt's Creek right now too.
Nice. That's mostly it. I guess I watched like most of The Great also while I was cooped up in my friend's house. It was good. Really fun. Yeah. For, kind of a tardy, like a Game of Thrones-y period piece. I thought it was really well done. Really good.
Yeah, but only fun.
Yeah.
It's actually hilarious.
Yeah, it's actually fun.
Yeah. Like Nick Holt playing, Peter the Third?
Yeah, I think it's the third. I think he's the third. I can't remember. But yes, Catherine the Great's first husband.
Yeah, he's playing clueless idiot, fail son king perfectly. It's so fucking fun.
Oh, and I apologize. One of my smoke detectors needs its battery changed, and it's too high for me to do it easily, and I don't have a 9-volt battery. So apologies to Josh, because it'll be beeping throughout the episode.
Well, that's fun. Well, I guess I can start reading the recap, eh?
Yeah, let's do it. This is one of my least favorite episodes of SVU, and it's mostly because it's one that I've seen like 40 fucking times. It's always on.
Yeah, it's always on USA and Ion and reruns. So the randomizer bestowed upon us episode 3 from season 3 called Stolen. We open on a haggard, postpartum depressed Carrie Green, apparently no longer having to suffer through a bespectacled Corey Haim prattling on about cicadas. She pushes a cart and a baby carrier through a supermarket. A stock boy shows her where her brand of formula is, and when she comes back to her cart, her baby is gone. Benson and Stabler arrive at the scene, and a uni pops in to tell them that baby clothes were found in a bathroom down the street, along with a tuft of hair and a dropper of Librium used to likely keep the baby quiet. Cragen shows up with a mobile command post and quickly tries to disabuse Benson and Stabler of the notion that she, the mother, had anything to do with the child's disappearance. And when they push back, Cragen says Stabler better play out the string on that theory right quick. Stabler tries to find postpartum common ground with our frazzled mom, proffering the information that Maureen was an asshole baby when all he wanted to do was sleep when he got home from work after the night shift. But it seems pretty obvious that she had nothing to do with the baby napping. Munch and Finn go over security tapes and figure out that baby Emma was transferred into a suitcase that was purchased an hour prior on a credit card belonging to a social worker whose purse was stolen at work by a crack addict who relapsed after giving birth to a stillborn child. They head to the addict's apartment where they find a fat stack of hundos and a warm crack pipe while rifling through her shit. Then, our cracked-out tot napper wanders into the apartment, sees the cops, and turns tail, but she's no match for Stabler, who bounds down the stairs, apprehends her, and gets her to give up the name of the adoption lawyer in Chelsea to whom she delivered the baby. They rush to Chelsea, where they burst through the door of a brownstone serving as an adopted baby nursery, find Emma, and arrest the nurse, and return Emma to her parents, who've clearly been put down the path of being the helicopteriest parents ever. Munch and Finn head out to Kew Gardens to arrest Mark Sanford, the adoption attorney, and when questioned with his attorney present, he says that everything he does is above board and that he had nothing to do with Alicia going out and kidnapping someone else's child. Cabot tells Cragen that they got squat unless they can prove Sanford knew Emma had been liberated from her frazzled mother by crackhead Alicia. As the unit tries to tie Sanford to some shady baby dealings, Cragen realizes that one of Sanford's adoptions 12 years prior was a baby, Stephen Talmadge, who went missing in a homicide case as Sergeant from back in Season 1 of the original series Max Greevey caught. Cragen asks Munch to help out on the case, and then he visits Sanford in jail and blows up Cabot's spot, blustering through the proceedings like the bulls of Pamplona through a china shop. Sanford's adoptions all seem to check out, but he is running a scam where he's getting 3 couples to pony up $30,000 for each baby, and then he pulls the rug out from under 2 of them, saying the biological mother changed her mind. Munch tracks down the murder vic's college roommate, who points the unit toward her only boyfriend, Rob Cook, who we soon find out was only banging sweet, dead Jennifer Talmadge because he was on a break with his now awful ex-wife. Who are we kidding? She was surely awful back then, too. They got back together because he'd knocked her up, and we all know that's a recipe for a successful, fruitful relationship that won't fuck your kids up at all. The unit wonders if maybe Rob killed Jennifer and figured out a way to drop $30,000 to adopt his own child from Mark Sanford, but mitochondrial DNA proves that Rob and Linda Cook's boy, Brandon, is of no relation to Jennifer Talmadge's mother. The unit finds paperwork, leading them to the adoptive parents of Stephen Talmadge, and Cragen and Munch head out to tell the Blakes that the kid they've raised for 12 years was fucking kidnapped and put up for adoption. Tyler Stephen, or maybe it's Stephen Tyler, asks Cragen, so what happens to me? And then we're put through a tangled but predictable custody melodrama where there are no winners. Wong tells everyone on the stand that tearing Tyler from his adoptive family would be a trauma akin to having his parents die in a car accident. Rob panders to the grandparents, who he says will totes get to see Ty, but lays on the, but I was robbed of a chance to raise my son I didn't know I had shtick. The biggest loser, though, Linda Cook, who turns out to have intercepted the letter Jennifer sent Rob to tell him that she was cooking his bun in her oven, plotted to take out the competition, and then put the bastard up for adoption to clean up her mess. She's going up the river. Stephen Tyler is going to live with his biological father and his half-brothers, whose mother murdered his mother. His grandparents might get to see him sometimes. His adoptive parents, who raised him for the first 12 years of his life, well, maybe they'll get to see him some. And we get a, can't we just cut the kid in half, Dick Wolf?
Yeah, I gave it a, Cragen, you piece of shit, you ruined that poor kid's life, Dick Wolf. I dare you to fall off the wagon, you smug shit.
Yeah, he really did fuck that kid up, huh?
Good work, Don. Good work.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, I just have this visceral hatred for this episode. Just the way that it turns to being just such a boring passion play. It's something about Celia Weston also that really rubs me the wrong way. I can't really put my finger on it exactly. I think she's fine. But on the Celia Weston note, let's go through all the guest stars because there are a lot of them.
There are. I definitely exercised some restraint in researching them. Like, there were a lot of people who've been in like 100 things, but as the 45th person on the call sheet.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of those that I've X'd out of my tabs.
Right. We'll start at the very beginning. We've got Carrie Green, who is playing Michelle Derechek, the mother of the kidnapped child.
Just 3 of the best first 3 credits of just about anybody's IMDb sheet.
Yeah, and then she just basically stops.
Disappears, yeah.
So she was John Candy's daughter in Summer Rental.
Mm-hmm.
She was Andy Carmichael in The Goonies, and she was Maggie in Lucas.
The love interest in Lucas.
Yeah, and don't read too much about Charlie Sheen's history on that, because it...
Oh, that's the movie, yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
Uh-huh. Sorry, Corey.
Yeah, jeez.
But yeah, then she kind of doesn't really act in much else. She's only been in, one or two things since this point. One was like an indie feature that I know had some Munch alum in it, but I can't remember who it was now.
2 episodes of Mad About You, episode of Murder, She Wrote, things
Paul's
like that.
assistant, I think, in Mad About You.
Yeah.
Then her husband was played by Ted King. He was the lead in the Time Cop TV series.
Yeah.
He was Inspector Andy Trudeau in the original series of Charmed. So that was like a season-long character. He went on after this to play Lorenzo and Luis Alcazar in General Hospital, who was kind of like the big villain for a long time.
500 episodes.
Yeah, 5 years worth.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch of other soaps like Loving and The City.
One Life to Live.
Yeah, One Life to Live, where he landed after his run on General Hospital.
Yeah.
Then we've got Bruce Altman. He was playing Mark Sanford. It's weird, like I recognize his name so much, and I know I've seen him in a bunch of things, but like then when I was looking over his credits, it's like, oh, why do I even remember him?
Like, when was the last time I saw Regarding Henry? You know?
Yeah. Like he had recurring roles. He was Terry Colby in Mr. Robot. He was Catherine Keener's husband in Show Me a Hero. He was in 3 episodes of Damages. He was in 10 episodes of Blue Blood, both as a mayor, active mayor, and as a different former mayor.
Weird.
So they're playing fast and loose with continuity also. He appeared in 7 episodes of the original series of Law & Order. He's got 107 credits, so odds are you've seen him in like 15 things.
Yeah, I'm the same. I guess Quiz Show maybe is, I don't know. He's
yeah, but I
can't
can't imagine he was that prominent in Quiz Show either. Yeah, you know, like I love Quiz Show, but I guess I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't remember his character at all.
I know who he was in Glengarry Glen Ross. He was like a lead.
Okay.
They were trying to sell him some fucking property at Rancho Relaxo Estates or whatever it's called.
We've got Josh Pais popping back in. This time he's again as defense attorney Robert Sorensen. This is his second of, I believe, 3 appearances as this defense attorney. So we saw him most recently as Hank Abraham in October Surprise, which we covered in Munch My Benson 38. That is the weirdest wonk boner I have ever heard of. And the episode where he played Robert Sorensen was back in Remorse, which we covered in Munch My Benson episode 10, which is Staten Island has its own entire language.
I have a whole theory about Josh Pais's character here. So Mark Sanford, if you guys don't remember, is the name of the disgraced former governor of South Carolina who weirdly ran a primary campaign against Trump.
I have like a full dive into Mark Sanford, actually.
Nice. Well, okay, so I'll wait on this.
Okay, so the next one on my list is David Aaron Baker, who's playing Rob Cook. He starred opposite Sarah Jessica Parker in the 1996 Tony-nominated Broadway revival of Once Upon a Mattress, where he was playing Prince Dauntless. And shortly after this episode, he was in a revival of A Raisin in the Sun with Felicia Rashad, Audra McDonald, Sanaa Lathan, and Sean Combs. He also was Ted in season 1, episode 6 of Sex and the City, Secret Sex. He was Bill Fallon in 6 episodes of Boardwalk Empire, and he was Jessica Stein's brother in Kissing Jessica Stein. And my last person that I looked into at all was Celia Weston. So Celia Weston, she plays Margaret Talmadge here. She was Jolene Honeycutt in the last 4 seasons of Alice, which was the sitcom adaptation of the Martin Scorsese drama Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. She was the mother of the murdered child in Dead Man Walking, which netted her an Independent Spirit Award. She was prominently featured in Junebug, In the Bedroom, Far From Heaven, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and Flirting with Disaster. She was also nominated for a Tony for her turn in The Last Night of Ballyhoo, which featured a very young Paul Rudd, because this is 1996. Very young Paul Rudd in its original run.
Yeah, she was in Modern Family as a recurring cast member, too, for a couple seasons. She has a very sort of strong, my manager took all my money and now I'm living in a motel in a small town in Ohio vibe going in this episode, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm the only one that feels that way.
I love how specific that description is.
I have 2 more that are really should be brief, but they kind of have little tidbits that intrigued me. So John Seitz played Celia Weston's husband, and I bring him up at all just because when I first saw him, I thought for fucking sure that was Anthony Quinn, legendary actor Anthony Quinn. First for a second, like a heartbeat. I was like, holy shit, that's Anthony Quinn. Maybe Josh will do his Lestrada voice again. But no, it's not. But he was in a film called The Prowler from 1981, which looks like a pretty fun, like a drive-in slasher film where there's somebody dressed like a GI from World War II who's abducting co-eds.
That's weird.
Yeah, it looks pretty weird. The one that I'm really excited about, though, was John Randolph Jones, who played the security guard who helps him go through the footage. For one thing, I thought he gave a decidedly... So at this point, we've really only seen acting from Carrie Green, and it's rough. It's hard to watch her acting, I think, in this episode. And I
mean, it is kind of a thankless part.
Yes, definitely. But the next guest we see at all is this security guard guy, and I thought he was a refreshing change. He's kind of been in very small bits in a lot of some of my favorite movies. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 3 Days of the Condor, Trading Places, Dancer in the Dark. He's been in some good shit. The one that I'm excited about, though, is from 1980. It's called Night of the Juggler. Are you familiar with this film, Josh? Because it looks fucking awesome. It stars It stars James Brolin.
I was going to say, it's not starring Josh.
Yeah, it stars James Brolin as a former cop turned trucker whose daughter gets kidnapped by this, like, socialist radical, I guess is what he's like, thinks that she's the daughter of a rich guy, and he kidnaps her, and it's just one extended chase through 1980 New York. It's like as gritty as can possibly fucking be. People call it their favorite New York movie ever made. And it sounds awesome. It also, some of the comments about it are that it would be canceled nowadays. It's highly problematic. So I really want to see this movie. It looks awesome.
I'm totally down. It's got a really young Mandy Patinkin, presumably.
Yeah,
it's
he
also
plays
got
a cab driver. Yeah.
No, I'm into it. I'll totally watch this.
Yeah, it looks awesome. It's on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
The full cut. I don't know what quality that is, but it looks fucking rad, and I'm excited about it. Something I had no idea of. I saw the name and I was like, "What the hell is this? Is this some like clown shit?" But no, it looks like a extremely gritty, kind of like grittier French Connection is what it looks like.
No, I'm down.
And really, besides that, I'm thinking, do any of these other people really pop for me? No, these are all people that we've already talked about or that I don't care about. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I got for that. I don't have anything about the locations. Everything was pretty... Oh, no, I do have one more. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Rob Bartlett, who played one of the lawyers. He's a recurring lawyer. Milton Schoenfield is he's a recurring guy. He was on the Don Imus in the Morning Show for 31 years.
Crazy. He's the high-priced lawyer that replaces Josh Pais. Robert Sorensen.
Exactly, yeah. 31 years talking to Don Imus every morning. That's good for him. He also was a security guard in 3 episodes of Ugly Betty.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I got for that shit. So
all right.
We can...
Yeah, let's just move into these episode notes then.
Yeah.
My first note is Carrie Green is crazy short.
Yeah, she's very short.
Guess I never realized this while watching Goonies and Lucas over and over and over. She's listed at 5'1", and maybe she's slouching through all of her scenes, but I'm having a hard time seeing how she clears 5 foot here. Hargitay is listed at 5'8". I did a little dive and research into this. Hargitay is listed at 5'8". And when we see her walking into the bathroom, she's wearing a pair of what look to be either French heels or spool heels that are giving her maybe another 2 inches.
We're talking about Hargitay here? Or?
Yeah, Hargitay, because that's the
reference point.
Yeah, the reference point to check her against. I assume that wardrobe had Hargitay wearing the same shoes for every scene in this outfit for continuity.
Yeah.
But she looks more than 9 inches taller than Carrie Green. In all of their shared scenes. So I'm sitting here wondering, like, do you think the heels were a Hargitay power play on Green? Like, behind the scenes? I mean, I can't imagine that they were going up against each other for parts in the mid-'80s as Hargitay was already playing, like, the sexy young woman by 1984. Like, when she popped up in the Ronnie Millsap video for She Loves My Car at age 20. Like, she's definitely playing a woman.
She was too old for Goonies. Yeah.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, like, because that's 1984. That's when Goonies would have been getting cast. But, like, she's not getting cast in the Carrie Green part in Goonies even. you know?
Yeah.
She looks like a woman at 20, and Carrie Green looks like she did in The Goonies.
So I have a note about this too. So I think that SVU is in the pocket of big baby formula. It's interesting. This is probably something that I notice more than you would, for instance, because my life revolves around feeding a child. So I think about breastfeeding and pumping and cleaning the shit and listeria and all these other things. And I gotta say that baby formula has come up as a plot device in multiple different episodes that we've watched, particularly, well, this one, because she wanders off to buy baby formula and then her kid gets, napped. And then in the, particularly in Risk, which is, they are not going to desex Hargitay for the sake of an undercover operation, where there was a coke smuggling ring where they disguised coke as baby formula, which killed, what's her name from Justified's kid?
Erica Tazell.
Yeah, Erica Tazell's kid. And I think it's just like, I have not seen breastfeeding be a plot point yet in an SVU episode. Not to say that it won't be at some point, but...
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. But definitely it's a plot point in my life. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Man, I really jump ahead from here.
Oh, you do? Okay, so I go straight into who goes to the DMV to swap baby clothes. I think that's just such a strange choice of locations. You go to a gas station, maybe you go to a hotel, something like that. But at the DMV, you have a combination of reasons why I would not go there. For one, it would be heavily surveilled, right? Every DMV is going to have multiple cameras and cops are like nearby. It's where they work, basically. But also, it's going to have the shittiest restrooms I can imagine. Like, as far as a place that I want to go and relax in a stall for a few minutes, maybe like actually unclothed, that would be one of the lower places on my list.
Yeah, the only worst place I can think of would be a museum that has a bunch of children going there. Because then there's piss all over the floor in addition to all of the traffic and surveillance.
Piss everywhere, exactly. And you know that they clean it once a day.
Especially in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that really actually I was waiting for this, because I remembered we talked about this when we rolled it. Turns out it was the third episode that aired after 9/11 in the fall of 2001. And so I was waiting to see if the Twin Towers were going to be in the credits, and they were, which is interesting because apparently in syndication, they were removed from season 3 episodes. So in the syndicated episodes, they left them in seasons 1 and 2, but they removed them from season 3. And in Hulu, they were in, which is a strange thing that I just looked up recently because I thought this might have been the first one that aired, but no, it was the third one that aired.
I wonder if they had to shut down production for this one.
I don't know.
This would have been shooting right around then.
Exactly. I mean, supposedly they did stop production and they assisted with, rescue efforts as much as they could, being a film crew.
Right.
Apparently, I think it would have been the first episode of season 3. Originally, they had a different, I forget the guy, the voice actors, the intro voice.
Steve Zirkington or Zilkington?
It is something like that. Apparently, they did a different voiceover where he's talking about 9/11, but I have not heard that. Maybe when we get season 3, episode 1, we will actually hear that one, because I think if there is one that would be on, it would be that one. That's all I got with that.
Do you have any notes before we get to Alicia's apartment?
No, I just have Andy from the Goonies. You're right. It is a thankless part, just being the weepy,
The weepy, postpartum depressed new mother.
Who just lost her kid for the first time she left the house after the baby's born. Yeah.
Yeah. That kid's in for a really, really smothering existence.
Yeah, no shit.
I've got to say that Jennifer Albano, who's playing Alicia, the crack addict, didn't really hit the mark.
No.
It's an odd line to walk, I guess, because she's sitting on some fat baby stacks, and she's only been back on the rock for a week, but it felt like wardrobe and hair and makeup missed the mark.
Yeah, I agree.
Her freak out on the stairs kind of worked, but I did laugh when she called Elliot bitch.
Stop! Police! Get off me, bitch! Get your hands off me! Go!
Shut up! Shut up.
Yeah. Do you know what she reminded me? She reminded me of the babysitter from Goodfellas, who's putting the Coke into the diaper bag. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
When he's like losing it and the helicopters are following him and he's making the meat sauce. That's who she reminded me of. But again, they could have like given her some red eyes and red nose, like make her like look like she's strung out a little bit.
Right, because she does not look strung out.
No, she doesn't. Not at all. I completely agree with that. And also her house looked like...
It wasn't that nice. They were talking like it was super nice.
I know, it didn't look that nice. It looked...
I mean, it's nice for a crackhead, but...
Yeah, but I mean, not for a crackhead with that kind of money, right? I mean, just...
Yeah, but she just came into it.
Still, it looked fine. It's not like she had like a brand new TV or anything like that. She had no extravagances. I really liked the mobile command center that they used. I thought it was fun to have them kind of in a different setting doing their run around and walk and talk and shuffle papers around.
RV policing.
Yeah, and I thought it was just a nice little touch. It didn't have to be there, but it did kind of add a little... It raised the stakes a little bit. It made it feel like there was some urgency there, and I enjoyed that.
And, you know, they're probably just using the AD trailer or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're clearly just using something that they have available. But
Okay.
But yeah, my next note is LOL Mark Sanford.
I laughed a lot at that. This obviously brings to mind the Republican South Carolinian politician Mark Sanford. Mm-hmm. At this point in time, when this episode is filmed, Mark Sanford was serving as U.S. Congressman from South Carolina's 1st District, possessing the most fiscally conservative voting record of any of his contemporaries, per the conservative think tank, the Cato Institute.
Interesting.
After 3 congressional terms, he ran for governor and defeated the incumbent Democratic governor, which I was surprised about, that South Carolina could have had a Democratic governor at that point.
It was probably a holdover from the bad old days.
Yeah, the Dixiecrats.
Yeah.
So, while serving in the anti-penultimate year of his 2nd gubernatorial term, Sanford disappeared from the state for the week surrounding Father's Day. He'd led his staff to believe that he'd been on the Appalachian Trail, only to have it come out that he'd been in Argentina with his mistress and had failed to answer more than a dozen phone calls from his chief of staff and failed to call his family on Father's Day. There was bipartisan support for his impeachment, and his own party drew up papers, but Dems delayed the proceedings, presumably to continue to get to flog him, while stating that they were awaiting the report from an ethics committee investigation. The Ethics Commission issued 27 charges, but an ad hoc committee eliminated most of them and then voted 6-1 in favor of dismissing the charges because nothing worthy of overturning an election had taken place in their estimation. Despite having apparently found his soulmate in his Argentine mistress, they broke off their engagement in 2014. He returned to prominence, running for his old U.S. congressional seat in 2012, and because white men can fuck up until the end of time without consequences, he was elected 3 consecutive times.
And then most recently, he tried to run in the primary against Trump, and I don't believe...
But, I mean, he basically just launched a committee, right, to an exploration...
Yeah, it wasn't a serious challenge.
Did he, say he was going to run in 2000? Or 2020?
Yeah, he was in the 2020 primary. He had, website and infrastructure for his campaign.
I'm sure it's just a cash grab.
Yeah, it's a cash grab for the staffers, just to find some sacrificial lamb who's going to get up there and get some donations for them, basically.
Right.
But what I think is funny is that Josh Pais got his start in politics by helping Mark Sanford get off from this baby stealing scheme. And it's one step from assisting a future philandering Republican governor to ruining the Israeli Labor Party via a sex pot insertion scheme.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, if you don't recall, that's what he did in
October Surprise.
In October Surprise, that's right. Gosh, my notes are so few and far between. The only really fun line I thought that was in this episode was between Munch and Finn. Finn was asking Munch if, with all those marriages, if he ever thought about adopting, and Munch said the kindest thing I could ever do for a kid is not adopt. That was, I think, one of the very few lighthearted moments of this whole episode.
Yeah. I mean, unless you consider being able to laugh at the robot child trying to act like a human.
Poor kid. I feel bad for that kid. My next note is when after Cragen discovers this child is related to Max Greevey, he and Munch are at the Greenwich Diner, they call it. And there's just this really wild camera setup for this. It's like this high angle tracking shot that kind of flies in from the ceiling towards Cragen. I guess it's burrowing into Cragen's soul to show us how he's still living with these wounds from 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a jib. It's got to be a jib shot.
I mean, it has to be. There's no crane or anything like that, and it was very smooth, so it had to be a jib. It's the second really artful shot that we've already seen in this episode. The other one was when they're kind of looking for the baby. There was a Spike Lee style I don't even know what you call that shot, where the actors are standing in the center and the camera is swooping all around them, doing like a 360-degree turn around them. I think Spike Lee does have a name for that shot, but it's definitely like the Malcolm X shot. You know, you've seen it if you've seen any of his joints. But so I looked up the director. The director is James Quinn, who I wasn't super familiar with. He's done some TV directing, but mostly stuff that you'd be familiar with was AD work. He was AD on Smokey and the Bandit and The Last Waltz and a few other movies. But yeah, he has some decent AD credits. Not great director credits, but I thought that was...
I'm sure he can scream at crew then.
Yeah, he can... Well...
For those who aren't aware of what the AD does, he basically is the director is worried with big picture stuff, and the AD is the one who makes sure that all the crew is doing everything to set up for the shot.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, the average life expectancy of an AD, if I'm not mistaken, is 53 years old.
Really?
Yeah, super high stress. Yeah, it's a heart attack job. Super high stress. It pays really well. But you're not going to get to enjoy retirement, probably.
Also in that scene, Munch is drinking a glass of red wine, because of course he would. That's definitely a Munch drink.
Yeah, obviously. Jumping back to when they go into the brownstone to get the babies at the nursery,
it
sure seems like Stabler and Benson are coming in hot when they tell the nurse she's under arrest for kidnapping.
Dude, I know.
Like, they should know at this early juncture that she didn't have shit to do with a kidnapping.
Yeah, she clearly did not. And putting her in handcuffs just means that, like, oh, what happens when these kids start crying before ACS shows up?
Yeah, some fucking uni's gonna have to fucking try to...
change a diaper and, like, bottle feed
try
them?
to change 5 diapers and bottle feed 18 kids. Stupid.
Yes.
They say that Mark Sanford went to the Law School of the Ozarks in 79. College of the Ozarks is an undergraduate-only school.
Interesting.
I can't imagine they had a law program in 1979 and then discontinued it, especially given the fact that it's called College of the Ozarks. College of the Ozarks is a private Presbyterian liberal arts college in Point Lookout, Missouri, which is on the opposite side of the airport from Branson. It's fairly hard to get into because it's free to attend, with the caveat that while attending school, you have to work 15 hours per week at one of the school's 100 jobs.
Interesting.
While the school is rated well academically, it's found itself embroiled in controversy related to its stringent Christian ideology. In 1993, the Journal of Blacks in Higher Education published an article where the College of the Ozarks was determined to have the second lowest rate of black students, with just 0.1% of its 1,541 students being black.
Interesting.
The school has responded to the charges of a lack of diversity by decreasing the white population among the students to a mere 93%. But they did stop selling and using Nike apparel because of Colin Kaepernick ads. In 2017, the Princeton Review surveyed 237,000 students and found that of 383 colleges with students surveyed, the College of the Ozarks was the most hostile to LGBT students. That year, they doubled down on the idiocy by requiring all incoming freshmen to take a class called Patriotic Education and Fitness, which, per the Wikipedia page for the school, combines military-style physical education with military science in order to encourage patriotism and respect for the military.
Jesus Christ, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, hell on earth. Okay. I thought it was weird.
I could use your help on this.
With all due respect, Captain.
I don't usually work cases. You're right. This is different.
I know, I thought that was weird too.
And it's like, oh fuck, how am I just catching this? Because he really doesn't work cases that much, you know, if you think about it.
Munch?
Yeah. You know, he's not the primary on a case ever.
That's true. Yeah.
It's rare.
Yeah.
I just thought that was weird.
It was weird. I thought it was a weird line, and I kind of expected, like, with you or something like that, but yeah, it was kind of strange.
Yeah.
Is there something that we're missing?
Well, I think it's because he's a sergeant, right?
Yeah, I guess he is a sergeant then. Yeah, so his job is to look out for the squad.
Right, yeah. Finn doesn't really do fucking cases anymore either.
Yeah.
So So Max Greevey gets a ton of play in this one.
Yeah.
He was Chris Noth, Mike Logan's partner in season 1 of the original series, and he was played by George Dzunda, who we've talked about before.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was killed in the line of duty in the premiere of season 2, but because he was only under contract for season 1, they had a body double for that.
Season 1 of Law & Order is really good. Highly recommend season 1 of Law & Order.
Yeah, so his departure made way for Sergeant Phil Serrata. He was played by Paul Sorvino. And a season and a half later, Paul Sorvino left following a shooting in the line of duty and made way for Jerry Orbach, who was just coming off of his star turns in A Gnome Named Norm and Out for Justice.
And a recurring role in Murder, She Wrote, which he was awesome in.
always going to bring it back to Murder, She Wrote.
I'm sorry, but when he's in 10 episodes, I'm going to bring it up.
All right, so when they're getting the DNA tests at the lab, methinks thou doth protest too much, Linda. Too bad they put the whole murder thing on hold to go down this what constitutes as a parenting exercise in nuanced tedium.
I got to tell you, Josh, I barely watched this the second time I watched through this, so I haven't really watched the whole second half of the episode in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's not a good episode.
No.
So, all right, then we got to get to Ian Cronin, who's playing Steven/Tyler.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah, my first note about him is apparently he's a butcher at the Keystone.
Yeah.
So he sucks at second base, and that means he's no Frank White, I guess.
Yeah.
It was so dumb that Cragen called in the grandparents.
Yeah. No.
Right away. The first thing he does is call them in. It's like, dude, you fucking know that he's not going to be able to go home with them. You've been doing this for how long?
Yeah.
You don't understand how custody works, and that he's going to go through ACS in the first place anyway?
Yeah, maybe the more nuanced approach would be to find the kid is living in a loving, good home, and then tell the grandparents that he's doing all right, and maybe we can meet him. Instead, you tip the whole fucking apple cart over, and the most dickhead one of the whole bunch is the one that gets custody.
But he gets custody of, while you're watching him act, it really does feel like you're just watching a robot boy doing his best to mimic human emotion.
Well, the kid has no other credits. Poor kid. He
has one. I think it was one other credit. If I remember correctly, he had one other credit. But it's one or two.
They are kind of leaning on him a lot, right? We're supposed to care about this kid. Again, in classic SVU fashion, can we have a Lily or White familial drama going on, right?
Yeah.
This kid is he's blonde and he loves playing Little League with his pals in the suburbs, but he's still got a little bit of sass to him. God damn it, I hate this shit.
Yeah. And my note at this point, I have, maybe it would be different if we didn't remember this episode at all.
Yeah.
But the entire last act seems so obvious that I don't have any notes. I don't care to try to make them.
Same, like a weepy Cragen plus Cabot at minute 17 is a bad sign for where the episode's going.
Yeah.
These are not what we like. This is not the things we like to get into.
No, SVU does not thrive on the sort of first half law, second half order fucking formula. It does not work that way. And when we're stuck in it, like we are in this episode, you're just like, fuck my life. Why am I watching this?
Yeah, seriously. And it's interesting. I think it's because, when you had Jack McCoy, right, he gets indignant and he gets on a high horse and he kind of gives a speech, right? And his head shakes and you kind of feel his passion for the law. But when SVU does this, it's always got to be some morality play about there's no good outcome, right? It's always there's no good outcome.
Yeah.
And you can see it telegraphed the minute Cragen knocks on the grandparents' door, we know there's no good outcome, and that those grandparents are still going to be upset, and that perfect family with the mom is going to be fucking crying at the end, and the kid, who they do their best to make us care about him, but mostly just because he's blonde and white. That's mostly why we care about him.
Well, that's mostly why we're supposed to.
Yeah.
It's mostly why we're supposed to care about him.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to rating this.
Yeah, please.
Do you have a New York State of Mind note at all?
I looked up the few cards that they gave. That was really all that we saw. The shot with the kind of swirling exterior, that was clearly just right outside the criminal court, which we've seen a few times, but nothing that interesting. Really boring shit, honestly. So yeah, I'm ready to rank this thing. So of course we rank this every week. We rank every episode on a 4-part criteria that will help us kind of fit everything into the pantheon. So we do it on the quality of the show, the guests, how problematic it was, and the depth and breadth of lives ruined over the course of the episode. Of course, those last two, we want it to be problematic and we want lives to be ruined, at least for SVU's sake. That's the sort of stuff we're looking for. So it's interesting because I do think this episode is professional in a way that some of the bad ones we've seen are not.
Right.
In that it's like, I don't feel like it's a complete mess, right?
Its weird turn isn't shocking.
No.
It's just playing out the string on a lead and it leads them to something else.
It's potentially interesting, and it's definitely like, it has that thought in it that some of them don't have.
Right.
But it's just, it goes from a pretty tightly paced thriller in the first 15 minutes to just being a dud.
To utter tedium.
Just being a dud. Like, unwatchably tedious. Josh, the plumber is here, so I have to go let him in. But I will be right back. There might be some banging over the last 10 minutes of this episode. So, listeners, you might get to hear Adam's hot water get restored on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, we were just about to rank the quality of this episode overall, and so okay, let's see. Chat Room, which we just watched, we gave a 3 to. This was less fun than Chat Room, right? This was less watchable than that, I think. I'm trying to even remember Chat Room, which I don't.
Yeah, the insane thing is we just recorded it or recorded it like 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember a fucking thing about it.
So going further back, Choice, the Beverly D'Angelo, Shirley Jones one about abortion.
Yeah, that's at least as tedious as this.
That was a 2.
That's more tedious.
Yeah, it's a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I'm inclined to say 3 just because it is professionally done.
Yeah, that's true.
And it makes more sense than a lot of the dregs. The lower rated quality episodes are generally nonsensical.
And there was some artful cinematography that I thought actually added to the show, which sometimes they don't have at all. Sometimes it's just completely by the numbers. Okay, so 3 I'm fine with, because I don't think it's going to get high marks on any of the other ones, particularly.
Right.
Guests. There were a lot of guests.
There were.
Bruce Altman is good.
Yeah, Bruce Altman's good. Josh Pais is Josh Pais.
Yeah. I don't have great things to say about the rest of them. I mean, Carrie Green, she's like frantic and recognizable, and that's about all that she could do in that role, I think.
Yeah.
Celia Weston is rough.
No, there's not much going here.
The kid is rough. The mom is rough. I mean, David Aaron Baker is doing what he's supposed to do.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
I think his ex-wife sucks in a way that's entertaining.
Yeah, both of them, like, he comes off at that fine line of like egotistical, but not criminally egotistical.
Right. Yeah.
That works.
Just white privileged egotistical.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's just like, this belongs to me.
I made this kid with my sperm.
Yeah.
And didn't do anything for 12 years.
I know. So I don't know, what, a 3? A 2? 3? Because there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a 1.
We give a 3 to the Sarah Hyland, Aya Cash episode Hot House. And I think they did a lot more in that episode and were more recognizable.
Yeah, I'd go 2 on this.
Yeah. I agree. So, okay, that's fine. 2 there. Is there anything problematic in this? Like, really, at all?
No.
I'm struggling to even, like, come up with something completely out of left field, like about Mark Sanford. He's not even that problematic. Who cares? No.
He's just a gross capitalist.
Yeah, he's a shitty capitalist, but who gives a shit? Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, they made up a law school that he went to.
Yeah, they made up a law school. made you go into a College of the Ozarks deep dive.
Yeah. God damn it. No, I think this is pretty clearly a 1.
Yeah, this is an obvious one. Now, people's lives did get ruined in this, obviously.
For sure. Yeah.
The kid's life is fucking wrecked when it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and his adoptive parents are fucked.
Oh, they're totally fucked. They're getting a divorce,
They have no legal recourse to, like, have any visitation rights with this kid that they raised for 12 years.
Yeah.
His baseball team, well, they're probably not fucked.
No, he was a shitty second baseman, so, like, maybe if he was... What's, like, the downstep from, like, second base in Little League? Because you want to actually have kids that can cover some ground in the outfield. I think second base is kind of the bottom of the barrel there. Maybe catcher. Catcher, you do a lot. I know I played second base for a while, so there's no way it could have been a high value position.
Yeah. It's above left field.
Yeah, it's above left. That's true.
I think for the fucking Fallout, we're probably looking at what, like a 4?
Yeah, it's a 4. That kid's life is fucked. The parents are fucked.
Cragen's never going to work a fucking case again.
And he shouldn't, because he always fucks it up. Moralizing Cragen is not a good look. That gives us a final tally of 2.5.
That's fair.
Which is not as low as some, but it's pretty damn low. The closest one it's coming out to is the 2.625 we gave to the Glasgowman's Wrath, which is about as different as can be, I think.
Yes, yeah. The things that worked in that are not the things that arguably worked in this. No, this is bad. This is a bad episode.
Just, I feel like it's one that's always on, which is another reason I hate it so much.
Anyway.
So, so 2.5. So let's roll the next one.
So I'm going to fire up the old randomizer. We're over at episode.lol, powered by friend of the pod, Flat. The tape is spinning.
Oh, I hate that part.
And it's going to give us Rockabye. This is season 7, episode 9. The description: after a 16-year-old, Lauren Westley loses her unborn child due to a severe abdominal beating. Her father's insistence that Lauren was raped leads detectives to the baby's father, but it isn't long before the detectives realize that Lauren was an active party in her own beating. This one features Annie Potts. That's the only name that I recognize.
Yeah, I remember this episode, but there's no famous names in it. I think this one is fun, though, if I recall correctly. I definitely remember this one. But yeah, I guess, hopefully my life will be back to normal. I can take a shower in my own house. Somehow my wife managed to get us temporary memberships at the UTMB gym. So I've been taking gym showers a lot.
Nice.
So been publicly hanging dong recently.
Yeah, you got some good sandals to wear so you don't get diseases?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I got my slides, I rock full Adidas when I go to the gym.
Sweet.
But yeah, so until then, munch my Benson, guys.
Yeah, munch the shit out of our Bensons.
The Saturday movie will continue after these messages.
Daddy's little girl is missing.
How are you gonna find her?
Somebody took her. Daddy! Somebody's gonna pay.
You want to see your kid alive again?
Daddy will make sure of that.
Daddy! You're giving me $1 million, you'll never see your kid again.
James Brolin, a broadcast premiere. Night of the Juggler.
Sunday night at 6, only on Channel 11.